G'day, Dylan from the Byron Bay Observatory here, and I have a huge update. As you know, I've been setting up my C11 C14 telescope, the biggest telescope I've ever owned in the observatory. As you know, if you've been following this series, in the first episode I compared the C11 and the C14, and then in the next episode I got to work getting together a digital finder scope so that I could find the planets really easily. In the third episode I did some planetary surveillance on Saturn, and in the last episode I set up the Esatto 2-inch robotic focuser. Now all of these things have come together with a nice beautiful bow, but there's a problem. God and I are not on good terms. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I got unbaptized. Maybe it's because I had premarital sex. Stop! Maybe it's because I drew Muhammad. I don't know what her problem is, but I have a new telescope and I'd like to use it, please. But a funny thing happened the other night. I got impatient and I tried to image a nebula. My first test shot through the sucker holes. Now, sucker holes are a term from aviation. They're this illusion that you have when you see a hole in the clouds that you can descend through the clouds and just get through, and that will be easier. It is an illusion, it's actually dangerous, and it has killed people. But for astrophotographers, this just means that if you try to do anything productive through the holes in the clouds, you are probably a fool, maybe even a sucker. Not me though. I'm no sucker. I just want to use my telescope, and I am going to use the telescope at the full native focal length. That's 3,910 millimeters at f10. This is the furthest and highest magnification I've ever used in my entire life. My name is Dylan O'Donnell, and you're watching Star Stuff. As you know, I got this Esatto focuser installed and I showed you how it worked in the last episode, but I felt really bad because I didn't show you a nice V-curve. I can show you that nice V-curve now. It's perfect and it works every single time. The only time it's ever failed is when there's a cloud going past, and that's something that I don't think even Esatto can solve. What I can say is that I have the backlash in Nina set to 0, and this still gives me perfect V-curves every time. I assume because the step size is so small on this focuser, even one step of backlash really is negligible. And I have to change the focus point by about 1,000 before I even notice by eye anything different going on with focus. But to test it, I had to put a camera on, right? So I put this image train together, and this is all wrong. This is just not ideal. I have no rotation here. It's just set to where it's screwed in. It's just the filter wheel and the camera, and that's it. There's no focal reducer. There's no off-axis guiding, but I wanted to see something. So I checked SkyGuide, my app of choice for when I'm just browsing the sky and I want to see what's available. But I'm in this really awkward position, right? I can't see east properly because of my house. It's blocking everything. And everything else in the sky at this time of year, pretty dull. I'm on the inside of the Milky Way, looking up through the void, nowhere near the arms of the Milky Way. I'm looking out into a blank area. There's not a lot of stuff, at least not enough of big, bright, obvious targets. So I had to resort to the south, to Old Faithful. You see, in the southern hemisphere, we have these two circumpolar galaxies, the Small and Large Magellanic Clouds. And I admit, they're pretty ugly looking galaxies. They're galaxies that only a mother can truly love, but they are full of treasures. There's lots of interesting things going on around them, and one of the biggest nebulas you can see from another galaxy is in the Large Magellanic Cloud. Of course, I'm talking about the Tarantula Nebula. There's a problem. How am I going to guide? I'm now at the full focal length, 3,910 millimeters f10, and I don't have my off-axis guider. I polar aligned the out of this thing. But then of course the guide solution is, am I for real? Guiding a 4 meter focal length with a 242 millimeter focal length guide scope? It had to be done. I had to try. So I went for it. I got the guiding going and I saw the first sub roll in. And I couldn't believe my eyes. Oh, that's really nice. The stars are round. Is this actually going to work? And they just kept coming in. And all along I'm thinking, how? How is this even possible? this shouldn't work. This doesn't make any sense. I can plug the values at the image scale for the Evo guide and the Celestron 14-inch in together with the cameras that I'm using, and I can see that the image scale differs by 6. The main image scale is 6 times that of the guide scale. And this was a test image. I just fired up the legacy sequencer in Nina and just got it going. I didn't plan I'll use the advanced sequence. I just had this thought that I'd just be taking a few images. But when I saw the live stack, I was like, I've got to keep going. And so I did. As soon as those clouds parted for just an hour or two to give me a total of 4 hours of data. And look, not all the subs were great. I threw away half of those subs because this is hard, big astrophotography. But I put it all together. I processed it in PixInsight, the hydrogen channel and the oxygen channel, and I nearly fell off my chair. My last image of the Tarantula Nebula was 620 focal length with the RASA 11. And now I'm resolving details that simply weren't there before. Even the cluster of stars at the core of the Tarantula Nebula's hugely active star-forming region are so far away that these blue giants typically end up extinguished by even regular moderate star reduction in post-processing. At first, when I saw this, I thought I'd introduce some halo artifacts from my hydrogen layer. But then I checked and realized that no, that's just a patch of glowing hydrogen in a perfect bubble. This is a feature you see in Hubble images of the Tarantula Nebula and other really close views, but not generally in most images you see of the region. For me, I felt like I was looking at a new photo of something I'd never imaged before, even though I've done this region a bunch. The way it fills the frame is a view I'm not familiar with. It looks more like the Carina region than the Tarantula. I've never seen this. This is a highly active infrared source. All these Bok globules. And what is going on here? And in here is just the largest known star in the universe. Absolutely mind-blowing. And this is a test image. I didn't even have a plan to get this done. It was meant to be just a quick little poke into the universe, and it's become one of the best images I've pulled out. One weird thing I did notice was that the dithering was jumping around way more than I thought it would, as you can see in this blink here. Nina lets you set its pixel dither, so I had it set to 3 pixels, but also PhD has a dither scale, and mine was set to 1, which they normally are. I believe what's happening here is because I'm going at 6 times difference in the image scale, this number 3 is being multiplied by 6, and so I'm getting 18 pixels of shift every single image. If I'm wrong here, please let me know. So there it is, my first light image. I'm so excited to get going with the C14. I'm gonna flick back to planets in a moment, but I'm so glad that all of this works. Anyway, thanks for watching and thanks for all your support and coming along with me during this journey. I've got an exciting new product lined up for the next video. So we're going to take a little bit of a detour away from the C14 series and go to a which I think is going to blow your mind. Anyway, you've been watching Star Stuff. My name is Dylan O'Donnell, and remember, everything is meaningless and we're all going to die. Maybe it's because I had premarital sex. Anna, shush. Stop.